All right. Are we good to start? Okay. I'm Matt Garnier, and today I want to show you the differences between sponsorship and sport and traditional advertising and demonstrate why sponsorship is advantageous in this field of advertising. I'm sure that any of you who watch sports have recognized that sporting events are full of advertisements, and it's possible you might not realize just how much is spent in this field. So let me give you some statistics. Among 3 of the top automotive advertisers, which were Audi, Mercedes, and BMW in 2010, 50% of their total US ad spending was invested in sports. In the same year, AT&T spent $366 million on sports advertising, according to the Sports Business Journal, and an estimated $10.9 billion was spent on TV advertising with all sports in 2010. NFL advertisers alone spent $870 million, according to Livestrong.com. So sports are an area with growing potential for advertisers, and they need to put their dollars to good use because there are excellent opportunities to create positive interactions with consumers. And the best way to do this is through sponsorship. This image is from a televised soccer game, and I want to show you the differences in the way that 3 different advertisers have promoted their brands. The first one I'm going to point out is the Volkswagen logo in the background. That's a fairly neutral form of traditional advertising where they pay for a spot and they're able to get their brand in the mind of the viewer, but not necessarily engage them, but it's a pretty neutral investment. Secondly, the logo in yellow up there is the Continental Tires logo, and that's also pretty neutral. It pops up for a limited amount of time. The viewer kind of has to look at it. If anything, it's probably a bit of an inconvenience to them. So it's not extremely effective since it doesn't contribute to their experience, but that's also advertising. But the one that I think is most effective is the sponsorship by Red Bull, which has completely integrated itself into one of the team's name and logo and everything that they're about. Red Bull has effectively engaged the audience for this team, and this is one of the key dimensions of a successful sponsorship-based ad campaign. They reach a specifically targeted niche market with an overwhelmingly positive set of brand associations. This is done in a number of different ways. Red Bull does a really good job with a lot of them, so I'll show you a few things that they do. Since they offer a product that appeals largely to young people and to athletes, they choose popular sports that already have an enthusiastic audience. Red Bull has sponsorships in F1 racing teams, both American and Italian. They're at least partial owner of 5 different soccer teams in cities throughout the world, 1 European hockey team, and they've sponsored a lot of successful extreme sports events. By doing this, they have the opportunity to create promotions where they can interact with customers and they become a household name in these specific locations. So they're not only recognized as a paid advertiser, but as the main entity behind the entire concept of the team or event that they sponsor. So I want to show you some of the qualities that a successful sponsor should look for. First one is success with the team that they're sponsoring. This is an important part of positive image. A study led by Kevin Voges of Canterbury University focused on an Australian rugby team, and it revealed that brand perception is influenced by individualized results. So the perception of brand quality rose when the sponsor team won, and it fell when they lost, which demonstrates the connection between a sponsor and a team. One that offers title sponsorship is advantageous. This often includes NASCAR, other forms of racing, extreme sports teams, teams with stadiums that might be looking for a corporate partner, and tournaments of various kinds. One with an interactive audience is important. In IEG's Complete Guide to Sponsorship, the writer says, advertising is considered a quantitative medium, that's referring to traditional advertising. Sponsorship is considered a qualitative medium, which means that traditional advertising is based on statistical forecasts of what's going to be profitable to invest in. Sponsorship more has the opportunity to increase the value of their investment by following up with a strong set of interactions, like on-site promotions, sampling trade shows, and other forms of branding. One with a positive reputation in the community is also good because sponsorship is considered an appeal to a niche market. It has to share the values of the associated group or athlete. Just as the brand represents the user represents the brand. If these things are done correctly, sponsorship creates a relationship with the audience that a quantitative sort of advertisement can't. So I'm going to show you some of the benefits for the sponsors. Companies can increase the value of their sponsorship by connecting it with existing advertising campaigns or creating supplemental ones. When viewers recognize a brand already because they know that it's an official sponsor, they'll pay more attention to its advertisements. There are internal benefits for employees. This background shows a promotion that Discover did when they sponsored the NHL, where they had the Stanley Cup, and employees could hang out with that for a week, and they had expenses paid trips and stuff like that. It boosts morale, they can provide perks, and they can even create forums for corporate philanthropy. A company can integrate their social media with a sponsorship by showing support, and they get recognition in return. Logo placement can remain on memorabilia and is documented for a long time, so that's a form of long-term exposure. For example, people who attended an event might have a t-shirt with a brand logo on it for a long time after it happens because they were a sponsor. Sponsorship also gives companies the opportunity to tell the audience about their product because they usually have a human presence at these events. This gives them better opportunities to analyze customer feedback and to track the effectiveness of the exposure at an individual event. Companies can selectively reach a desired audience at a specific time. One example is Procter & Gamble. They're a multi-billion-dollar company who's done very well with sponsorships. And they push brands that are popular with women during the Olympic Games because that's the time of highest viewership among the female audience. So that's a way that they can capitalize on a short-term opportunity, and that's one of the benefits of sponsorship. So I'm going to talk about the future of sponsorships. An article by Richard Gillis in the magazine Marketing anticipates that the value of sponsorship is on the rise. With the growing success of major events like the Olympics, sponsors are an important source of funding. But he also points out that brands need to be better educated on the benefits of sponsorship. Some brands make tactical errors that tarnish the reputation of sponsors as a whole, and at the same time, sponsors are still very much a necessity. So brands who promote themselves in ways that create positive connotations have an opportunity to establish themselves in a cost-effective way where a lot of other advertisers are not. The success of a sponsorship is all about the quality, not just the quantity of the expenditure or the reach necessarily. It is a risk, but it's one with very high payoff. Most importantly, sponsorship can turn the positive attention of an audience into a positive association with its brand. Identifying with the values of another group or individual is an effective way of establishing brand image. And when this is done appropriately in the field of sports, loyal sports fans can be turned into loyal customers. That's it. Thank you.